Hello, everybody. It's good to be back with you again here, and I'm sure happy to present to you the one and only. I call him the one and only because he's an honored person. Richard Valle is his name, and this will be, of course, the first time I've interviewed with him. But he and I have been friends for a long time, and I can even take him in basketball now once in a while.
Every now and then.
If I'm lucky, yeah. If I'm lucky,
Yeah.
he's pretty awesome in what he does, physically too, by the way, but he's got such an important position, and I just had to have him on camera here at Chabot College. By the way, Richard is a graduate of Chabot College.
I am.
And also Cal State Hayward.
I am.
And I want to really get you going on something, you know, about you, Richard. We don't want the offices here and all this other jazz. You're part of that.
Okay.
But we want to know Richard Valle himself.
Okay.
Can
Sure.
you tell us about your family and what?
Sure. There's a lot of people who I know love talking about themselves. That's not a very difficult thing to do, I guess.
Well, there's a lot to talk about when you're on, though, Richard. But go ahead.
Local guy, grew up in Union City, graduate of James Logan High School. When I was a senior, my wife was a junior, and we met at Logan High School. And
Wow.
long story short, we have 2 children. We live in Union City. We've lived here almost all of our lives. And my daughter lives abroad in New Zealand. My son lives in San Diego. Barbara and I have been together for almost 40 years.
Wow.
And it's been a wonderful journey for our family because we both have been able to contribute to our communities. She was on the school board in Union City and New Haven.
Right.
I was in the city council for 13 years and now a county supervisor. We grew a local business here, Tri-Said Recycling, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've been a part of the fabric of our community for many, many years. And my parents live a few houses down from our house, so I
Yeah.
still look in on them every day.
And you got elected as supervisor in 19.
Yeah, actually it was June of 2012, and then
2012.
2014 we stood for election, and we won a 4-year term, and our term is up in 2018, November of
Wow.
2018, so we'll be standing in re-election, and we'll be on the June ballot this year.
Fantastic. I remember way back, not that far back, but when you were running, and I told you, hey, Richard, I'll back you up any way I can.
I remember that, Marion. I remember that
And
really
then one
well.
thing, too,
As
said-
you were defeating me on the basketball court.
And then you said, I'll get on your Rotary Club, too, if I win.
That's
and so
right.
forth.
That's
and I
right.
didn't hold you to it because I knew that you were so darn busy, but
Yeah.
I almost wish I'd have said, yeah, I got to get you on my FUN club. It's fun.
Yeah,
Fremont
the Fun
Union
Club.
City Newark Club.
I think I did go to one of those meetings, and I have to say
Right.
that the things that you've done in our community, a leader here at Chabot College, you've taken kids to Cuba, China, you've done many wonderful things for our community, and
Yeah.
I think we have a special place in our hearts. You've been a volunteer at Spectrum Community Services for a number of years. You're
remember,
still on the
yeah.
board of directors.
You were the head honcho
Yeah,
at one time.
running Spectrum at the time,
awesome,
and you
yeah.
contributed a lot of time and energy to that effort. And Spectrum is doing a wonderful job of feeding seniors and doing a lot of fitness programs for seniors. I'm really proud of that organization.
Well, you were the man of the hour for a long while there. You were our president of our group. I remember you and I went to San Leandro. You garnered $20,000 from there.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
we
that?
did. That's what we
But
did.
that was pretty awesome, and you did a great job. I hated to see you go, but you and Mike Sweeney served.
That's right.
And now
Michael,
we have Yelda Laura.
a good friend to this day, and Michael took over the helm at Spectrum and built it into what it currently is, and now
Yeah.
Laura runs the organization. They're based here in Hayward, Hayward grown, and so like so many other groups here in the community, giving back to our community is a big part of our civic participation.
Well, when you use that word giving back, you're the man of the hour on that. You know, you started Union City was a little old town of Union City, but not so little anymore.
yeah.
And you kind of did a lot of work there. And then you got elected in 2012.
Uh-huh.
And you've been serving ever since.
Right.
What are kind of your highlights in what you've been doing that you can think of? I have a lot written down, but I want to
Yeah,
hear
sure.
from you.
We have several initiatives. One of the philosophies of coming into office for our office was that getting things done and putting things out in front of people that they can actually see or feel and be proud of. So
Yeah.
we launched a few initiatives. One of the first ones was the Veterans Memorial Park, a dedication and commitment to the veterans of South County and in Alameda County. We located that in Union City. That project started way back, maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we put 8 flagpoles commemorating each branch of service, plus the California flag and the U.S. flag. And in the center, eventually, we're going to build a monument, a memorial to veterans.
Oh, you're going to do that?
But that came to culmination actually this past year in 2017. On Veterans Day, November 11, 2017, Major General Garrett Yee was our honored guest. We have a Brigadier General. We had a good friend of mine who was a general in Vietnam. They were all there, and it was a great turnout. So now, about $380,000 later, the memorial stands at the corner of Dyer and, well, it's on the corner. It's Veterans Memorial Park in Union City. You got to go see it. It's on the magnitude of the kinds of monuments that you'll find in Washington, D.C. It's a very large memorial.
And what's that address again? Can you tell me the street?
It's on Dyer Street in Union City. It's called Veterans Memorial Park. I encourage the audience to go out and see it.
Wonderful.
It's on a grand scale, Marion, and I think what I like about this park is it gives you a sense of reflection. It gives you a sense of community. At the same time, it gives homage to the people who have served in our armed forces. And I don't want to give too much away because I want people to go out and see it.
Yeah.
We dedicated every panel to different branches of service.
Well, that's so good to know. Tell us a
give the
little bit,
history about
Richard, too. You want to get from there. You served in the service and so forth. Tell us a little bit about what you did, where you went, and so forth when you were in the service.
Well, you know, I graduated from James Logan High School in June of 1968.
We'll forgive you for that. That's okay. I kind of kidding because, you know, Union City is a big place now.
Well, it is now. At the time, it was relatively small. I think our graduating class was a little over 300 people. My son's graduating class not too long ago was about 1,100 kids in that graduating. So it's grown substantially.
From about 300-400, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, graduated from Logan in June of 68. In January of 69, January 10th to be exact, I was inducted into the U.S. Army compliments of Uncle Sam. And so I was off, and I wound up in Vietnam in January of 1970. Did a year stint and came back, and sort of everything changed for me in my life.
But while you were there, though, what did you do in the service? You were in different places.
I was a field medic. I was a field medic in the U.S. Army. And we're based out of Phu Ben, Cu Chi. We worked out of Da Nang as well, Saigon as well, Bien Hoa, LZ Bearcat, which is just outside, about 33 miles northeast of Saigon. I spent a lot of time there. We flew with the 1st Delta Cavalry Division as a medic. And so it was a life-changing experience for me. I came back to my community. Yeah. And I think that sort of started the process.
Life-changing experience.
Yeah.
In another way, did you get your inspiration there in the service to do what you're doing now? Because it took a lot for you to, my gosh, what you're doing now is awesome for the community. Did you get that inspiration when you were overseas and so forth, or it comes later? Well,
no. I think what I learned there was that the value of education.
Okay.
What I found was that those of us who had just come out of high school into the service were thrown into situations that were more perilous versus people who had an education, who had standing in terms of, you know, a degree.
Yeah.
And that's when I first noticed that the disparity in our society and our communities about how we raise our children and how education has its benefits for people. And that's sort of my awakening to how our system works, not just in education, but our economy, our military service, and everything else. And that that was a turning point for me psychologically as well as sociology. And so I took sociology at Cal State Hayward because I wanted to learn more about how we study the social well-being of people.
Yeah.
And that led to the path of community service. And then I took a master's in public administration program at Cal State because I wanted to learn about civic government and how to incorporate that into the process of making lives better and creating a better lifestyle.
Well, what you've done with that now, like, you know, you had your inspiration and what you wanted to do, but excuse me, I think that what somewhere along there it really hit you because you've done so much for the community. It's like everything has been based on helping people in what you're doing, you know. And it's a good thing you got into the office you did because now you're able to really put your hands on it and help people in different ways.
Well, it's really beneficial. There's a lot of opportunity for people in public service to do something for their communities, and sort of it depends on the attitude and what you bring to the table as a human being in terms of your community service. So I've always felt that it's imperative for us to demonstrate to the people who put you in office that you have something to give and you have something to offer and that you resonate with your philosophy and who you are as a human being so they can understand you a little bit better and not be put off by the fact that simply that you're an elected official and that in itself merits something. The only people that really merit respect are people who can speak with other people on the same level and connect with them at the same level and simultaneously get things done and deliver the goods, as you will.
Well, this is what I've always noted in you, and this is why I'm so happy to have you here, because you didn't just take the office as such, and there you are doing your thing out there, but you kind of delve into the community. You're helping people themselves. You're involved with them. And that's what makes me feel so proud of what you're doing. And
thank you. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you.
And that's
coming from somebody like you. Not only has a tremendous drive to the basket, but tremendous drive in life that I've seen firsthand. That means a lot.
Yeah. Last time we played one-on-one, how badly did you beat me, or did
no, come on, man. You're being modest. I think you beat me by 20 points.
Oh no!
And everything was up the middle.
Not that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a whole heck of a lot of fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And in playing basketball, you were so good in not just good in doing what you did, but good in sharing the ball and that sort of thing. And we kind of joked earlier about that. You know how it's teamwork that does.
It is.
That's where your fun is.
Yeah.
Not just winning and doing this and that. You know, but
It
teamwork
is.
when you play together.
It really is. Everything gets done when people do it together.
Yeah.
Philosophy is one of my philosophies from one of my mentors has been, it's better for 100 people to take one step forward than for one person to take 100 steps.
Say that again clearly. That's great.
Daisaku Ikeda, my Buddhist mentor. It's better for 100 people to take one step forward together than it is for one person to take 100 steps.
I hear
forward.
you clearly. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's so much better when you're in unison, you're in lockstep, and everybody struggles with life. There's difficulty for everyone. But that's a shared responsibility, and we as human beings, when we share those responsibilities and those sufferings that we all have to go through, it means so much more when you connect with others and you understand how difficult it is day in and day out through life struggles just to get through the day and continue on the process of living.
Yeah. And with you have 3 children.
I have 2.
Oh, 2.
A boy and a girl, Monica and Andrew, yeah.
Oh, okay. And here too, did you inspire them in different ways? Did you say, hey, let's do this, do that, or whatever? How did you work with your children in that respect? It's kind of a personal question, but I want to know you personally.
I respect the question. It's a good question, actually. And I think every parent would love to feel that they've inspired their children and given them something of value. I sure hope I did. The proof is in the pudding. The children are happy. When we come together as a family, we celebrate a lot of things together.
Yeah.
But because we don't see each other because of the distance between us, the celebrations are very significant, very meaningful, and very close. And the word love is tossed around often, and it means a great deal to all of us, regardless of your standing and where you are and what you do in your endeavors and what status you have. Having that kind of relationship with your family members makes living worthwhile.
I hear just so clearly because I have 5 children of my own. You know, they're going here, coming there, and so forth. And even when we moved, I went to the Azores, Portugal, and we lived there, and we had some fantastic adventures. You know that we enjoyed. And I was with children. This is why I zeroed in on you and your children because I could just sense that you're into that sort of thing. I went to India, by the way. I taught actually 8,000 kids how to play basketball.
Wow.
In India.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, Dr. Vijay Tiwari, I'm going to have him on this here too at some time.
I've met him. Yeah,
Oh,
you've
you met
introduced
him?
me to him.
Wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he's quite a guy.
Yes, he is.
And anyway, I'll have him on our show here sometime soon. But I went to his school, and I had only 400 kids there, supposedly. Then they got the good word, and it spread out. And all of a sudden, there was 3,000 kids. I was performing basketball right in the middle of some place where the hotel was like this, and the kids were around.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I said, my gosh, I don't deserve this.
Well, no, that's what you bring to the table, Mariano. You inspire people. You have that knack, and it's a wonderful gift. It really is, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. And I know you're going to bring many splendid guests in the future, and I've seen some of your shows, and I think you bring out the best in people.
Well,
you bring out the best in young people, which is so key because they are the future of our country.
Yeah, yeah. And I've always loved working with kids, and this is again why I'm having you here too, because I know you work so well with them. But when I taught in school, you know, I got a beautiful letter from this little gal, Kathy. She was slow, and she worked hard for her to get going with other people, you know. But I zeroed in on her, and I just loved the little gal, and she wrote me a beautiful letter that I saved forever to have, you know. So things like that are very meaningful.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that in your situation, and you're just starting in a sense, you know. I'm not expecting you're going to be president of the U.S. or anything like that. But what you're doing and keep on doing, I think is going to be fantabulous.
Yeah, well, appreciate that very much. And we had a contest just yesterday at the Union City Council where TriSed sponsored a recycling poster contest.
Okay.
There were children from kindergarten through high school that contributed and brought their work to the city council, and they were judged and they were placed in front of the city council, all praised for all of their work. And so regardless of whether you were first, second, or third, there was no ranking really. It was just participation oriented. Everybody got a great applause. Everybody got a little something to thank them for their efforts. So those kind of celebrations at the community level are inspiring for a lot of people, especially children.
Yeah.
When people can stand up and you know just jump for joy because of their work and their talent.
Yeah.
Beautiful work that they did in recycling.
Wonderful. You know, as you see yourself in this, you know, I see you one way, you know, you're working with kids and so forth. What do you see yourself in the future? What the things you want to be doing? And,
well, we've got a couple of other initiatives. This past summer, we had the Niles Stroll and Roll. And what that is, Niles Canyon, of course, where Charlie Chaplin made his first movie, The Tramp.
Oh, okay.
Niles Canyon has a long legacy in silent film.
Right.
Bronco Billy made a lot of westerns there. We shut down the canyon for a full day in the summer of 2017, and we did it in the summer of 2015 to commemorate two things. One, the loss of life of young people and other people who have been in the canyon who lost their lives because they were on a bicycle.
Oh boy.
And then secondly, to bring attention to that, as well as the potential of having a Class 1 trail through Niles Canyon for people who want to ride their bicycles or jog or take their children there on a walk. So one of the initiatives that we have in District 2 is to build a Class 1 trail through Niles Canyon. It's about 7 miles from Niles to Sunol, where the water temple is.
Okay.
So we're raising the awareness, we're raising money for that project.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
by shutting down the canyon for that full day, everybody got to go through the canyon, no cars, no interruptions, no trucks, just people on bicycles, and some of them were walking, some of them were jogging. But it was a fun day. And we always pick the summer because it's the best time of year. The water is running through the canyon, through Alameda Creek, and so you can hear the water and the birds flying. So we're going to bring more attention to that. We're working with Caltrans, the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, Alameda County Water District, East Bay Regional Park District. They're all partners in this They've all contributed to Stroll and Roll, and we're going to do it again next year. So we hope the community will come out and join us. It's a full day of fun, but eventually we hope to raise enough money to build a Class 1 trail on the other side of Alameda Creek, safely away from traffic so that people can go through the canyon, and someday we'll connect with the Ridge Trails and the Bay Trail out to the bay, because this will be the only trail that connects the two in our area of the county. So Supervisor Haggerty and I are working on that project together as partners. And we have a lot of cooperation along with the city of Fremont.
That is so awesome what you're talking about now, because I'm sure people will be surprised and happy that this is happening. And you being in your office, you know, you're able to handle these things, you know, which makes us really happy that you are in the office here and that you can do what you want to do. But yet you're not just standing out there saying, do this, do this. Wow, you're involved with it right down in the canyon.
Right.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and it feels good to do it because, well, one more initiative if I could. We're working with the Sheriff's Department on a program called Digby Farms. And we're working with the Masons of California in Union City. And we're gonna start farming on 10 acres at the Masonic Home. I don't know if we have time for that, but
no, we have time.
Do we have time? Let me describe that real quick. So the Masons own about 300 acres in Union City. The Masonic Home, which has been there since the late 1800s, it's the largest facility they have. And originally it was built for orphans, and the Masons have had that property for well over 100 years.
Wow.
We've discussed with them the possibility, and we're currently doing, we're going to build and dig a well on their property, and we're going to farm on 10 acres along with the Alameda County Sheriff's Department with Digby Farms. And we're going to put Dig Deep Farms. We're going to put young people to work farming. We have Frank Emhoff, who is a local farmer who's going to be doing most of the plowing for us. And so we'll have a natural aquifer, we'll have water. And this is a real project that the Masons are very excited about, District 2 is excited about, and the Sheriff's Department. Greg Ahern has been a contributor to this project as well. So we're working in collaboration with those entities to make that happen. So we hope to have the well dug in 2018, and we'll start breaking ground and start farming there probably this late summer on 10 acres. One more project that we're working with the Masons with is a habitat restoration project. They have another 200 acres on the backside of that large home. And we've been working with Mass Science Nucleus out of Fremont to restore about 200 acres of that land and plant California live oaks, which are drought-tolerant, fire-retardant trees that are very natural to this area. Many years ago, before this area was settled, these hills had a rich forest of oaks. They're all gone now because the Spanish introduced cattle and so forth, and farming came on, and so a lot of those trees were cut down, and people built houses out of them. But we're looking to restore them over the next 40 years. We're working in conjunction with the adjoining farm, which is a horse ranch. So we're mixing the horse manure with the food waste from the Masons' 2 full-time kitchens, and we're creating a soil amendment that we'll use as a base for the live oak trees.
Wow. Well,
so we've started that project about 4 years ago.
Beautiful. I'm going to have you on again sometime soon. What you're saying really involves the community, and how much help you can get too, I think is awesome. Let people say, hey, I could do this, I could do that, and so forth.
Sure.
So I certainly want to have you back again and talking about these things. Let me go in a little bit of what I'm going to be doing here. I do work with wheelchairs, by the way. In fact, we have a neat picture here of the president who was back here.
George Bush?
Yeah.
Yep.
I had 550 wheelchairs sent to Mexico and Australia, and we're working on Cuba. So that's one of the things we're doing. And the president has backed us up 100%. And of course, I have a picture here of Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
Who is also involved. You know who she is, of course. She's awesome. And one of the things that I'm doing is called World Peace. And I want to make you aware of that too, because that's a basic thing that we need to work on,
Absolutely.
I have a nice little map that probably
in Buddhism we call that Kosen Rufu.
call it what?
Kosenrufu, working for world peace.
Okay.
Yeah. Working,
Yeah. And anyway, it's this is a little. I had some letters made, by the way,
Yeah.
called World Peace.
Oh, very nice. Very
And
nice.
I'll tell you what I want, and this
Yeah.
is something you can think
Uh-huh.
about too. When I talk about world peace, I want to get classes going, like at Chabot, Cal State, and so forth, with the world peace. And then the instructors would simply have the who, what, where, why, when. And then we'll talk about that, because that's so important at this point, you know, when we're
Sure.
at the verge of this and verge of that, so it's
Right.
kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah.
So us, the people like yourself in office who can do stuff like this, I think will be awesome, you know. So world peace is a biggie that we're looking into. I like to do things in a big way. I'm in with the Rotary Club, and I made a rotary wheel that was the largest in the world. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
That's what
I
they had
remember
on
that.
the
We'll put this
Anyway,
here.
things like this are really awesome, you know, to do. And the reason I do this is not just because, wow, we got the biggest wheel, because to say, hey, look what they're doing and so forth. And even what I do in sports and running and the sprints and all this other jazz at my age, you know, I've got the world's fastest time.
I know.
And,
yeah.
But that's neither here nor there in a sense, you know. But if say, oh yeah, well, I've got your attention.
Yeah,
I want
right.
to talk about world peace, you know,
Yeah.
and Rotary and what Rotary does too,
Yeah.
you know.
That's a great message. That's a wonderful lead into
and
a great
I'd
message.
love to have that going. Now I want you to kind of conclude here.
Yeah.
What we had a couple of minutes here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just let me say that I think each of us again faces a lot of hurdles in life, and you're an example of somebody who's gone through a lot of personal hurdles. I know you've had some serious issues yourself with your health, but you bounce back. You always come
Right.
back strong, and it's a matter of will, and it's a matter of strength, inner strength that you know has made you this person. And here you are giving this wonderful gift to people of your time and bringing other people into your arena so you can share not just your philosophy of world peace, but help them share a little bit about themselves. And that's a tremendous gift. So the
Well,
more that we give to each other, I think the
Right.
better off we are as human beings.
Let me tell you, I'm so happy that I have you here, Richard, and that you've shared all these information. It even blew my mind what you're doing, you know. I read a little bit about what you're doing and so forth, and yet here you are doing all these other things, and what you've got planned for the future is awesome. And any way that I can help you, I shall be there, you know.
All right,
with
thank you, Marion.
So
Appreciate
thank
that.
you
buddy.
very much. that macho
All right,
man.
all right. Sounds good. All right, thank you.
We have a lot of fun when we get together, and
Yeah, we
I
do.
wish everybody goodbye, and we'll come to our next shows. Thank you, sir.